everybody. It's Nick Aster. I'm here with Jeffrey Ashe. Among other things, Jeffrey is a fellow in public policy at the University of New Hampshire. And thanks so much for sitting down with me for a minute.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Excellent. So we've got there's this concept called a savings circle, which has been coming up in conversation recently in our Transform community. Can you just give us in a nutshell, what is a savings circle and why is this important?
Well, when immigrants come here, whether they're from Latin America, Africa, or Asia, they all participate in one form or another of a savings circle. The basic idea is that let's take a very simple example. 10 people come together and they all contribute $100 a week into a common fund. And each one of them over the 10 weeks will take home $1,000. And it's a way of accumulating money that they could have spent in 100 different ways into a useful lump of capital that they can use for taking care of paying the rent, fixing the car, doing the kind of things that those who don't have this system would go into debt for. Mm-hmm. And then as they progress over time, they tend to go into bigger groups with longer payback periods and pay more money. And with this, they're basically developing a fund to launch businesses. And if you walk down any street where there's a lot of immigrants, you'll see the restaurants, repair shops, groceries, all the food stands. That's all financed through these informal credit associations. Also, to purchase the vehicles if they're doing Uber or Lyft driving, and purchase houses.
Mm-hmm. And how formal are these typically? I mean, is it 10 people? Is it 100 people? Is there some kind of legal organization that runs it, or is it much more nebulous than that?
It's much more informal. I think the most typical group is about 10 members, and they typically save about $100 a week. But over time, especially in the Bangladeshi, Cambodian, and Nepali communities, they tend to be larger, let's say 60, 70, 80 members. And the contributions are much larger, let's say in the $1,000 a month to $2,000 a month level.
Got it. And you mentioned a couple of the different ways that this money could be put to use. Could you share with us maybe a story or two about some of the groups that you may have maybe working with, about where this money has been able to accumulate and been able to accomplish some good for these communities?
Well, there's many different stories, but I'll take you to Ashland, North Carolina, where we first got into contact here, and basically many of the Mexican immigrants who live in trailer parks are part of tandas. These are the Mexican version of this rotating savings groups. Mm-hmm. What they do is they take part of their earnings, a part of their payouts, and put it into a fund so that they can purchase the land underneath their trailers. That's just one, because since this area, Asheville is rapidly gentrifying, the prices are going up and people are being evicted off their lands. That's one example. Many other examples, let's say a woman in New York City is saving $200 a week into her group so that she can send the money to El Salvador to keep her 3 kids in university down there. And also with another friend going together and opening a cafe. There's hundreds of examples, but these are just 2 for right now.
Excellent. And I understand that we have this conference Transform coming up in San Francisco in May, which we're excited to see you there. And I understand we're going to try to put together a bit of a workshop on understanding this phenomenon better. Is it about trying to jumpstart this phenomenon? Are there anything specific that you have in mind yet in terms of what we might be learning?
Well, there's a couple of different angles. I think one is just to educate people that there's a vast, informal, thriving economic system operating right under the noses of all us who are in the economic development business that nobody knows about. For part to educate them, and also Kevin Jones has expressed a lot of interest in trying to use these groups as an entry point for leveraging additional funds so that the immigrants can do what they other larger projects. For example, in the trailer park example I showed, the Kevin, along with self-help credit unions, looking to create a fund so that this fund could be paid into through the tandas, but they would have larger amounts of money so that they could buy entire trailer parks, just for example. I was just in Bloomington, Indiana, where the tandas would be used to administer a fund so that immigrants would have access to immediate loans so that they could take care of immigration issues such as paying for fees, lawyer fees, or bail bonds and the like. That's just two examples. So we're exploring all sorts of ways in which these groups can be used as leverage points to other kind of development activities. Also, another aspect is linking to formal credit.
Terrific. Well, Jerry, this is fantastic. We're really excited to continue the conversation in San Francisco, and I know that a lot of other folks are as well. So thanks so much for your time, and we will look forward to following up soon.
Good. Well, I'll see you in San Francisco.
Sounds good.
Okay.